radio.
Local and national sports talk that's fresh, in season, and FDA approved. If it's hot, you'll find it cooking with Jeff, Jay, and Kelly. They don't just stir the pot, they add more flavor than the other guys. Get ready to dig in and taste some Sports Skillet.
Ooh, tastes good.
Right now.
And welcome to the Friday live stream of the Sports Skillet radio show. We appreciate you joining us each and every Friday afternoon here on YouTube. And reminder, if you miss any portion of the show, we will have it up on our social media channels after the show is over. And reminder, you can also check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Just do a search for Sports Skillet. And we are not going to waste any time. We are going to get right to it. We are going to bring into the conversation Shane MacGowan. The coach tackles all the most sizzling topics of the week. You can check out his website at mentaledgeperformance.ca. You can also give him a follow, and please do, on his Twitter account, Mental Edge, PERF1, and Shane7551 on Instagram. Shane, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. Unfortunately, I don't have Jeff or Kelly here with me, but I think we can get through it. They sent me some questions to ask you, so I think we'll get through everything okay. What do you think?
Oh, we're going to get through this with flying colors today, my friend.
All right, Shane. So let's start off. You are obviously pretty happy because your Toronto basketball team got a win last night over the Milwaukee Bucks, 105-99, and now Toronto Raptors go back home with a 3-2 series lead. What did you think about the win last night?
You know what? That game showed a lot of character in that team of Toronto. I mean, they came back. They were down by, 10, 12, and everything like that to come back and make a statement and say, you know what, we're not out of this game. And playing in Milwaukee as well, too, and that's already hard to do as it is. Milwaukee had, one of the best home team records going in throughout the regular season. So, I mean, for them to do that, I think shows exactly that character of that team and the bench coming off and saying, you know what, we're here to play. And Van Vliet there, I mean, that young guy had an awesome game from hitting the threes out there. So, I mean, really when it came together, that team performed, did what they had to do, and they played a smart game, too. They didn't take any bad fouls. They didn't do anything, but what they did was they knew when Milwaukee was in foul trouble, they drove to the net like they usually do, and sure enough, there's fouls and fouls. So, like I said, they played a really good game, and I'm looking forward to Saturday. It's going to be an awesome game up here in Toronto.
I think it will be, and Jurassic Park is probably going to be going wild tomorrow night.
Oh, it's going to be going crazy. There's no question about that. I mean, this is a city that's hyped, and I mean, it's got that college atmosphere to it right now, too. So, I mean, everybody knows about college ball and how crazy it gets, March Madness, everything like that. Well, this is our May Madness is what it is. And, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic for that organization to finally get this close like they are and can feel it. So, I mean, Milwaukee's got a lot of pressure on them to come into a very hostile city.
And Kawhi looked a little bit better last night, too, right?
You know what, he did, and I mean, he was resting his body on the bench, too, at times. But, I mean, look, here's a guy that's going to say, look, I'm going to play no matter what. He keeps his personality in check. He does his job. But, I mean, he made some great shots out there, too, that were really needed. But he also found the open guys as well, too, which is a big thing. So, I mean, I think, again, too, is if he looks around and his team can contribute like they are, then it's a less pressure on himself, and he can just play his game, do what he's got to do. And that's exactly what's happening.
And I have to ask you, do you think the Raptors will re-sign Kawhi once their season comes to an end?
You know, that's always going to be that $1 million question because, like I said, it's one of those things where nobody knows Kawhi other than Kawhi. I mean, he's the guy that keeps himself in check, very quiet about everything going on. I know there's no question about it. They would love to. And to get to a finals, you know, win or lose in the finals, I mean, it's something that I think is still pretty good for them in that way. But I think for Kawhi to really stick around, there's got to be some type of more incentive for him to say, well, I really want this to build and build and build. So what other players are you going to get in this organization to help us down the road as well? So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting because, the bids are going to be coming out here for him all over the place. And, I mean, it's up to him on what he decides to do and where he feels. He might be one of those world travelers. I mean, he might be a guy that just says, you know what, I had fun here. I want to try my luck here. I want to try my luck here and stuff. So it's going to be interesting come this offseason, that's for sure.
I think so, too. Who do you think matches up best against Golden State, Toronto or Milwaukee?
Well, right now I'm going to say Toronto. And due to the fact that
were.
I think it's because Toronto seems to be having a little bit more defensive game. Milwaukee, it was funny, is today they were talking about it an awful lot of just showing the inexperience. I mean, Milwaukee's a good team. Don't get them wrong. They're a good team. But they're showing that inexperience when it comes to the defensive play of things. They're not taking the chances that they should. They're being very cautious in many ways, but they're also giving up too much and getting themselves into a lot of foul trouble too fast. And you can't do that against a team like Golden State. We all know that. They're going to drive at you and everything. So you got to really be able to make sure that you got the smart players in play. I think Toronto right now is the one that's matching up, especially when it starts getting down to shot. If you're scoring 100 points in a game, I mean, you're doing really, really well. There's no question about that. And this has been happening in this series with these teams.
Now, do you think the extra rest will hurt or help Golden State in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, any refs, I don't know. I mean, like I said, when it comes to Golden State, I mean, it depends on when you're back home in Golden State. I mean, when it comes to the refs. So, I mean, we'll find out. Look, this is going to be a very, very big magnitude series when it comes down to the championship games. I mean, and if you're going to, like I said before on the show with you guys, if you're going to, as refs, go into those locker rooms and start saying, this is how we're going to call the game on both sides, both you teams be ready for this, then I'm good with that. But if you start playing the favorites of one half and the other half, and it starts getting down to that last 2-3 minutes of a game that's very crucial, then it becomes real too controversial. And that's what they need to stop. So, I mean, I'm hoping that they got it all together and they realize what's got to get done. And let's just get this games and series going. But we'll find out as soon as the series begins. That's for sure.
Now, do you think Golden State winning without KD does make it more likely that he will leave Golden State once their season ends?
I think it was KD was leaving no matter what, win or lose. I think
so too.
I think he's made up his mind as like, you know what, I've done what I wanted to do here. It's been great, but I think there's also been a little bit more in-house type of turbulence, as we want to say, that goes under the radar a little bit. And I do think that, you know what, he wants to look at something else. And I mean, that's fine for him. I mean, LeBron's done it. Others have done it. So, I mean, why not? I mean, you can do it. And if Golden State feels that they can win without him, well, then they're fine too. But from what I'm understanding, there's a lot of people out here that are saying the same thing. Without a healthy KD, Golden State might be in a little bit more tougher come championship time.
Kelly was saying that too. She was saying that Golden State needed KD in order to match up with Kawhi if Toronto gets there.
There's no question about that. I mean, you're dealing with KD brings a certain amount of percentage of shots that are needed at certain times. He knows how to take a game, just like Kawhi can do that as well too. So I do think that that's what they would be missing without KD in the lineup. Yes, you can play your threes from Clay and from Steph Curry. The problem is if they're not making that because of tougher defense, you do need that go-to guy, and that's where KD plays a factor. So, like I said, I mean, I think without KD, they're really in a little bit of trouble in some ways come finals. They
could very well be. And since we're on the topic of basketball, got to ask you about the dysfunction in Lakerland out there in L.A. Magic Johnson schedules a appearance on ESPN the same day that the new head coach Frank Vogel is introduced as the Lakers' new head coach. I don't think it was a coincidence. I think it was planned by Magic Johnson to take some of the shine and take some of the media attention away from the Lakers' introduction. I personally didn't like it because Magic Johnson could have gone on ESPN before or after Frank Vogel was introduced. I think he scheduled it that way. What's your thoughts about all the dysfunction in Lakerland?
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, Magic and his publicists and everybody like that had it all planned out, saying, okay, you know what? There's a lot of behind the doors, I think, of upsetness between Magic and that whole Laker staff of upper management. And I think what happened was when he said it and came down to the end saying, you know what? You guys want to do it this way? Well, I'm going to show you a thing or two. And I think that's why he did the publicity stunt that he did. And, I mean, he had every right to. There's no question about it. And the timing of it and everything, well, that just kind of brings more attention to what's actually happening and stirring the pot, as we like to say. But, I mean, really, it is a mess. It always has been a bit of a mess for the past little while. And, I mean, for Magic to come out and say what he did, it just kind of shows that, you know what, he's not going to hold back. And I mean, why should he hold back? I mean, if that's how he feels and that's what's been going on, then the public has to know, instead of the public harping. And Magic wants to protect himself, too. There's no question about it. He doesn't want to be the scapegoat for everything. It's like, no, hold on here. There's other things that have happened and so on. But, I mean, I do think that overall it probably could have been handled a heck of a lot better on all sides of the parties, and it wasn't. And so now that's what you have. And nothing is being fixed. All you're doing is still putting a Band-Aid all over the whole mess there. So, I mean, really, it's now I think they're just hoping that they can quiet down the waves out there in L.A. and say, okay, let's just get it calm. Let's get the waters calm, and we can get some guys signed in here, because I think that's their biggest thing right now is they're hoping they can get some type of a free agent / draft pick, whatever it is, to hype up L.A. again and get rid of all this bad stuff that's been happening. But I mean, there's a lot of media going on right now in LA about this.
Oh, no question about it. Previewing the Stanley Cup Finals, who do you think is going to come away with Lord Stanley Cup this year?
You know, this is real tough, because I mean, Boston is playing tremendous, and
they are.
St. Louis has come on. Look, these goaltenders are absolutely both fantastic right now, with Binnington for St. Louis and out there in Boston with Rasek. I mean, you got two goaltenders that are just on fire. But for whatever reason, Binnington seems to have the patience with all the shots that he's been facing and be able to handle it no problem. And I think that's what's going to help St. Louis more than anything. So I'm going to take St. Louis in this one. I really am. I'm going to take St. Louis in this one. I think it's going to definitely take off the Boston fans, because, I mean, they're hoping for their big World Series, their Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Now to get a Stanley Cup and do the old trifecta over there. But
yeah.
I do think, though, that St. Louis has the number. I think they've got enough star power on the offensive side as well, but I do think they just got the hottest goaltender right now in Binnington, too.
I think so, too. I'm right with you on that one. Jeff wanted me to ask you, Bruce Kiefka has now won 4 majors in his past 8 tries. What do you think will be his ceiling, and what will be his biggest hurdle the rest of the season?
You know what? Here's the thing: is I don't know if there is a ceiling. I
don't know. I'm with you there.
Because really, why do you have to have a ceiling on certain things like that? I mean, just do your thing. You keep going. You're playing the way you are, and how the chips fall, they fall. But I mean, I don't think there is necessarily a ceiling for what he can do. And it's going to be when he's finally done achieving everything that you can say, well, that's where it capped. Now, who's the next person to step up and reach that type of bar that he just raised, you know? So that's what I'm looking at when it comes to this. I think he's going to just keep doing what he's doing. He's going to be phenomenal. There's no question about that. But I don't think that there's necessarily a ceiling